In this podcast, we will be discussing geography, economy, population, environmental issues, and political issues. Today, Turkey is located between Europe and Asia. It acts like a bridge between both of these continents. It borders the Black Sea as well as the Mediterranean Sea. The bordering countries are Armenia, Bulgaria, Georgia, Greece, Iran, Iraq, and Syria. Fun fact: Turkey is only a little bit bigger than Texas. The capital is Ankara and the largest city and seaport is Istanbul. The climate in Turkey is temperate. It has hot and dry summers and the winters are mild and wet. The largest mountain range is Mount Ararat, which is closer to Armenia and Iran. Mount Ararat, which has two peaks, the highest peak being 5,165 meters, with Turkey's average elevation being 1,132 meters, and the lowest point is 0 meters, which is the Mediterranean. Turkey is located on a fault line, which causes earthquakes throughout the year because the fault line is moving. Turkey's most important rivers are Tigris, Kızılırmak, Sakarya, and Euphrates. Turkey's natural resources consist of coal, iron ore, copper, chromium, mercury, gold, and so on. Agriculture takes up 49.7% of the land, then forest takes up 14.9%, with the rest used differently. Aside from the earthquakes, Turkey suffers from water pollution, dumping of chemicals, and oil spills from ship traffic. Turkey has grown substantially within the past few decades. The urban population itself has grown significantly, 75% supporting an industrial manufacturing-based economy, though the country still relies heavily on agriculture, being 1/4 of their labor force. This free market economy has recently slowed in the last 2 years due to the negative effects of the European Union on their exports. As Turkey continues to grow, the dependence on oil and gas increases, currently fulfilling 97% of their energy needs. GDP growth is projected to remain close to 4% through 2017. With improvements in the policy environment, Turkey could produce substantially better results. But there is still uncertainty about Turkey's future political and industrial framework and its commitment to the reforms required under the EU accession process. Currently, the population of Turkey is 80,274,604, with a ranking of 20. Much of the population has a high percentage of people who are between 24 and 25. The birth rate is 16 births to 1,000 in population, currently ranked 117th out of 266. A majority of deaths come from males' birth, unfortunately, but the literacy in males is much higher. Ethnic groups of Turkey are Turkish and Kurdish, 70 to 75% being Turkish and 18% being Kurdish. Religiously, 99.8% of Turkish and Kurdish people are Muslim, and the rest are Christians and Jews. Now to move on to Turkey's environmental issues. Although Turkey has several issues including conservation of biodiversity, air pollution, water pollution, greenhouse gases, and land degradation, we are focusing mainly on water and air pollution. Water pollution is a major issue across the planet, but in Turkey it has been heightened. With the Bosphorus Strait being the major waterway for Turkey, it suffers a great amount. With increasing ship activity, there have been massive oil spills ruining the marine life. In Turkey, much of the wastewater gets dumped into the strait before it is even treated, which leads to eutrophication, causing decreased oxygen levels. With decreased oxygen levels, much of the marine life suffers and even dies. 120 fish species have already died from the Bosphorus Strait. If Turkey does not stop dumping its wastewater and reduce the ship traffic in the strait, it will soon not be able to utilize the water in the strait and the marine life will vanish. Since the major cities of Turkey have become more populous, their energy consumption has increased. With increased energy consumptions comes increased CO2 emissions. The majority of major cities have a smog issue, but Turkey's air pollution has reached a point where the people are inhaling particles that are harmful to their bodies. Since the people of Turkey are breathing in more harmful chemicals, there has been an increase in premature deaths. In 2010, an estimated 28,924 people died of premature death due to the unhealthy levels of particulate matter. This data shows that Turkey has had major consequences from its increased air pollution. If Turkey does not start actively trying to clean its air, more people will die and the city will suffer. On October 29, 1923, Turkey gained its independence from the Ottoman Empire and formed the Republic of Turkey. In 1950, Turkey instituted a multi-party democracy. that resulted in an unstable government coalition as extremist left and right parties fought for control. Turkey's current constitution still supports multi-party elections. However, left and right extremist parties and parties with less than 10% of the national vote are unable to hold seats in the parliament. Unfortunately, even with these restrictions, Turkey's governing systems remain fairly erect and political issues are rampant. The majority recurring battle in Turkish politics exists between secular and non-secular viewpoints. Kemal Atatürk, the founder and first president of the Republic of Turkey, introduced westernized democratic doctrines into the country's government. Secular progressive parties believed in maintaining Atatürk's original values, while non-secular conservative parties believed in protecting the traditional values held by Islamic Turkish culture. More than 9/10 of Turkey's population is Muslim, and this majority often ignites military involvement in political affairs to uphold and maintain the progressive values declared in Turkey's secular constitution. In July 2016, Turkey's most recent coup attempt left over 1,000 people injured and almost 300 dead. After the coup, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan initiated large-scale military arrests of possible coup participants. According to an article from CNN's website, the United States expressed displeasure with Erdogan's anti-Western and authoritarian tendencies, and President Obama expressed concerns over images showing the rough treatment of some of the arrested coup plotters. President Erdogan blamed the failed coup on his rival Fethullah Gulen, who lived in Salisbury, Pennsylvania, since his self-imposed exile in 1999. Erdogan called on President Obama to extradite Gulen back to Turkey, and many Turkish citizens accused the United States of actually backing the attempted coup by harboring its suspected leader. Although the current political issues in Turkey are complex, alliances between Turkey and the United States may deteriorate if these political matters remain unresolved. Time will continue to add pages onto Turkey's political story, and only time will tell whether these additions can secure a bright future for the Republic of Turkey and its citizens.